Africa has supplied the world's minerals. As my previous speaker said, gold, cobalt, platinum, lithium, but we've never supplied its machines. And we often recite these minerals like a prayer, as if naming them alone carries power. But naming minerals, gold, platinum, it's not enough. When we only list what we have, we lose sight of what we can do. And when we lose sight of what they do, we lose sight of what Africa could build. So let's speak about these minerals with their full meaning. Gold runs the medical devices industry. It runs high precision electronics. It runs the aerospace systems. Cobalt is the backbone of the rechargeable batteries. It's the pulse of electric mobility. Platinum drives catalytic converters and the hydrogen economy that everybody is talking about. Lithium is the absolute nerve center of battery storage. Electronic vehicles, electronics. I think once we understand what these minerals produce, we understand what Africa could produce, and that shift changes things. Africa's mineral map is not a geopolitical, it's not a geological accident. It is a strategic inheritance. Copper for our grids, our power grids and motors. Nickel for our turbines. We can't have wind farms without nickel. Rare earths for sensors. Sensors are everywhere now and in robotics. Silicon for semiconductors and natural gas for fertilizer and green hydrogen. We speak of Africa's minerals as if they stop at the shoreline, but beneath our oceans lies another empire of wealth. Africa's blue economy holds minerals and biological resources that the world is only beginning to understand. Marine enzymes for cancer treatment, marine compounds for water treatment, biotextiles, algae-based polymers, which means that we could probably get rid of plastics and begin to replace it with some of these products. And deep sea mineral nodules containing cobalt, nickel, manganese, and rare earths used in electronics are also underneath our oceans. Every satellite in the sky, every smartphone that we are holding on this continent, every electric car on G20 highways carries a piece of Africa's earth. And let's be honest, sisters, you know how high heels lengthen our calves and make half the men lose their minds in the room? Girl, even those high heels are built on minerals. Steel in the shank so that the shoe doesn't collapse. Silica in the soles. Titanium in the arch. Petrochemicals in the false leathers. The G20 walks on Fashion Week catwalks on Africa's minerals. Even when they don't realize the runway beneath their feet started on our soil. Yet, the wealth we send out returns to us as finished goods, priced higher and protected by patents, and powered by our own minerals. Beneficiation is not a technical term. It's a declaration of our agency. It says we will no longer be the world's quarry. We will be its workshop, its laboratory, its production house. But ownership matters because without land rights, the mineral extraction conversation is mute for women. Women must own land because you cannot negotiate the future if you do not own the ground beneath your feet. Now, let me get to semiconductors. Those tiny chips that animate the modern world, they sit quietly inside everything. Inside solar inverters, inside medical scanners, inside AI systems, drones, inside satellites, inside electric vehicles. They are built from materials here, born on the African continent: silicon, nickel, copper, cobalt, rare earths. If the world wants a digital future, it needs what is buried under African soil. So the question is not whether participates. The question is, do we participate as miners or as makers? Africa may not build the next Silicon Valley, but it absolutely can build the next Silica Valley because we hold the sand, the metals, and the imagination. But imagination alone does not industrialize a continent. We must talk about the real gatekeeper: financing. Who gets funded determined who gets to participate. Who receives capital determines who becomes an owner and who remains an operator. Today, less than 5% of industrial and venture financing reaches African women, not for lack of ideas, but because the system was never built with women as intended founders of factories, of labs, and energy companies. When women are locked out of financing, innovation is locked out of progress. To change this, we need new instruments: a women's beneficiation funds, gender-responsive green banks, regional accelerators placing youth in mineral tech, advanced manufacturing, clean energy engineering. Integrating women is not a diversity gesture, it is an industrial strategy. But Africa cannot do this alone. The global system must change with us. The green transition cannot be built on old extractive habits. That is how green colonialism emerges. When wealthy nations clean their energy pathways, they outsource the environmental and human cost to Africa. They dump their toxic waste, their plastics, their chemical sludge, and their industrial rubbish in our oceans, using our waters and our coastlines as their trash can, poisoning the very ecosystem our people depend on for survival. An African mineral sovereignty and value retention minerals compact is what the continent needs to commit to. It ensures that Africa does not merely participate in mineral markets, but retains value at every stage of extraction, processing, manufacturing, and innovation. The compact is not an appeal. It is a declaration that Africa will no longer export wealth and import dependence. The world keeps looking at Africa and seeing minerals, but minerals are just the prologue. The real story is the mines, the makers, the women who turn elements into engines, ores into opportunity, raw material into refined power. Africa is done exporting potential. This century, we export power, shaped, assembled, and finished on African soil by African women who know that minerals are not wealth. Transformation is wealth. Africa is not the world's mine. Africa is the world's multiplier. When African women lead beneficiation, we don't just power the green transition. We power a new global imagination. We are not the shadows behind global supply chains. We are the architects of a new industrial age. We are not here seeking permission. We are here with purpose, and we are switching a new future on. Thank you very much.